The numbers are running? The numbers are going? Yeah, okay. Okay, so let's carry on. I just got an official notification that the missile was intercepted. So now it's officially safe. Yeah, okay. So we'll continue on from here. Okay, I put like a lot of different threads on the table and all sorts of ends, and with the intention of tying them all together. So maybe we'll just sort of do a recap now, because we had a little break running away from... Welcome to Israel, by the way. Israeli for bringing.
This is our third Saturday.
Jump in the middle to avoid a missile, and then you come back and continue on life. That's life in Israel lately. Hopefully it'll all be over soon. Yeah. So the story's like this. Okay, let's put it down on the table. First question is, how come they say, and it's brought into halacha by the sages say, and it's brought into Jewish law in the Rambam, in Maimonides, it says there that look for Hashem, but the prophet Isaiah says, Dirish Hashem b'himotzi, karu b'yosei korab, look for Hashem when he is to be found, and call him when he's close. What does it mean when he's found? When is that time? Say the sages, that's the 10 days between Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. And we've noted that, in fact, there's only 7 days between Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. And if you want to say 10 days between, so you have to include Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. So we said there's something about Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur which places them outside of being part of the process of 10 days, the set of 10 days, but there's also something about them which includes them into the 10 days. So when you get into Rosh Hashanah, you're getting into two different experiences, two different sets of meanings that you're meeting up with. In a similar way, by Yom Kippur also. Yom Kippur is the last of 10 days of tshuva, but it's something about Yom Kippur which sets it outside of the process of tshuva, above and beyond. So therefore you have 10 days between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, between what their real inner content is, but then there's that aspect of them where they are part of the days of tshuva. So in order to explain what tshuva is, I started off describing the different sorts of relationships that we have with Hashem, depending on which levels in the soul system we're talking about. There's Naran, we said, Nefesh, Ruach, Neshama. That's the soul, the way it's enclosed within the body. Nefesh means to say warmth and movement, action. Ruach means to say the world of emotions. It's a different window into the soul. And here you see a higher level of revelation of the life-giving force in the person's body. And then there's Neshama, that's your intellectual abilities. It's yet another higher up, one more story up, window into the soul, which gets revealed, the fact that there's some life-giving force, but it gets revealed in your ability to understand and to contemplate and to celebrate, etc. Okay, L'chaim. Then we said, that's 3 levels of the soul which is enclosed within the person. And that's what we all meet up with when we meet up with Chani or Yocheved or Mushki or Chavi or whoever it happens to be. That's Naran. And when I say I, that's what I mean. There's a higher level. That's the level of the soul, the life-giving force, which didn't become redacted and contracted in order that it can come into some visible function within the person's life. But it's that aspect of the life force which activates all of those parts of Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. That level, does anybody know what it's called? Huh? I heard you. They told me you're really intelligent bunch of girls. Huh? And you know lots of stuff. That's called Chayah. Right? And you've probably all heard of Yechida, Sheba Nefesh. That's the essence of the soul, where it's not even involved in activating the soul within the body. That's where, at that point in Yechida, you're one with Hashem. Think of it like a body of water. Imagine a body of water, and there's a drop dripping out from there. Can you imagine? There's a drip coming out from water, and there's a place where you see it's formed into the shape of a drip, but there's a place where it's still connected. It didn't yet disconnect to become a drop in its own self, its own right. There's that point where it's still one with the body of water where it comes from. That's Yechidah. That's Yechidah. Okay. If we talk about Naran and its relationship, my relationship with Hashem from the place of Naran, on that the Zohar says the Yisrael is connected to the Torah, which includes also the mitzvot, and the Torah and mitzvot is connected to Hashem. When I learn Torah, when I do mitzvot, what am I doing? I'm taking different capabilities that I have, whether it's to think and understand, or to feel, or to do all sorts of things. And those limbs in my body, and those capabilities and those faculties which I have in my soul, which activate and run those limbs, they are now brought into the context of doing what Hashem wants. So then they get connected to Hashem. If they're not there, then they're not connected. Right? That's level of Naran. There's a deeper level in the person's soul. When a person is from the level of Chayah, how does he get connected to Hashem? That's what happens when a person regrets that he did wrong and he's not connected like he should be or he'd like to be in Torah and mitzvahs. And then that's what he does tshuva. He does tshuva. I don't know if you heard the story. If you heard the story of President Clinton, there was a story many years back. It's going back quite a few years before. You girls probably knew what was going on in the news, even if you don't even know what's going on in the news, I'm sure. In those days, President Clinton got stuck in a rather embarrassing situation. I won't go into all the details. And he really didn't know what to do. And he called a meeting, a congress together of all different clergy of different religions, different streams of different religions. And he also called a rabbi. The rabbi he called actually was a conservative rabbi. And his name was Paley, Rabbi Michael Paley. And he decided he didn't just want to get a photograph with the president standing shaking hands. He wanted to actually have an impact. And he decided he's going to not pull any punches. So as the President Clinton, walks into this gathering, shaking hands with all these priests and I don't know what other sorts of clergy there were. So the rabbi also shakes the president's hand and he says to President Clinton, he says, Mr. President, you have to do tshuva. He uses the word tshuva. You have to do tshuva. Now, he knew that President Clinton was very interested in Judaism and actually had a session once a week with an Orthodox rabbi learning about Judaism. He was very interested in Judaism. Not for the purpose of converting. It interested him very much. He very much liked the Jewish people and was fascinated by Judaism. And so this Rabbi Paley, says to him, Mr. President, you have to do tshuva. So President Clinton, listen to this. President Clinton says to him, oh, that's interesting. Which tshuva do you mean? Do you mean the tshuva of Rabbi Soloveitchik or of Rabbi Cook? Huh? You guys know the difference? Well, Rabbi Cook was not Chassidus, but his mother was from the Tzemach Tzedek, and he talked about more inner aspects of the soul, more the soul of the people, not so much the soul of the individual, the soul of the nation, but in a similar way like Chassidus talks about more inner things. And Rav Soloveitchik's tshuva is about accountability, halachically. Rav Cook's tshuva is more about the inner deep soul searching process that one goes through in sort of some sort of inner change. So Rabbi Paley says to him, well, Mr. President, I mean the tshuva of Rabbi Cook, So he says, oh, that's interesting, because everybody who tells me I have to do tshuva, they mean the tshuva of Rav Soloveitchik. So I'd like to talk to you, and after they had a conversation on the side. We have what to talk about. So here you have it. There's the truth is, if I would have been there, I would have said to him, Mr. President, it's one and the same. It's two levels of the same thing. There's tshuva of Naran. Tshuva of Naran is accountability for your actions. If you did the Torah and mitzvahs, good. If not, so something has to be fixed up there. Because there's a bond connecting up. Yisrael mitkashra l'oraita, v'oraita mitkashrat l'kudsha b'richu. There's a kesher, a knot, a connection. And it's been affected, it's not in order. When a person does tshuva, what is he looking for? What does he want? He wants to reconnect. From where is he talking? From where is he operating now that he wants to reconnect? He wants to reconnect. He's still in that place as an individual separate from Hashem. He is He, and Hashem is Hashem. There should be this connection between him and Hashem with Torah and mitzvahs. There isn't. He feels bad about it. Gets revealed a much deeper connection that a Jew has, even if he didn't keep the Torah and mitzvahs. Nevertheless, he's still connected like a child. Even if he goes against his parents, he's still their child. And when that gets revealed, that can sort of wash away and fix up all the blemishes and all the balagan. You both been in Israel long enough to know what balagan is, I'm sure, right? It's one of the first words you learn, right? Before falafel and Coca-Cola. This is balagan, right? And miklat. Miklat you also learn fast. So it washes away all the balagan and fixes it up, because it got revealed, you have really a deeper connection. Okay, but you're still functioning, you're still relating. Even when you do tshuva, you're still relating to him as an individual who wants a connection with somebody other than me. Hashem. I am I, he is him. There should have been the connection, it's not right. So I really feel bad about it. I want to fix it up. So I'm still operating within that system. There's a whole deeper level, a whole different relationship, where we say, Yisrael v'raita v'kudsha b'richu kul echad. It's all one. It's not two, just one, only you. It's a whole different sort of connection. There is no blemish. There is no balagan that the rope between me and him got cut in some way or another. Because there's no rope. You know why there's no rope? Because the rope is between two. And when it gets revealed that we're really one, so then there's no disconnection, there's no need to reconnect. All that needs to be done is to reveal the fact that we're one. How do you do that? Well, you can't do it yourself. It has to happen. What makes it happen? Well, there's special, like you walk into a room where it's full of light, so there's certain periods of time, not place, which is full of a different sort of a light. Those days are called Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur. On Rosh Hashana and on Yom Kippur is a day which is specially adapted. It has a special power to it that has this effect that you just go into the day. It's a day when it gets revealed that he and I is not two, it's one. Yisrael v'raita v'kudsha b'richu kul echad. That's what gets revealed on Rosh Hashana, and that's what gets revealed on Yom Kippur. You with me? Yeah. Right. That's not tshuva. That's something above and beyond, outside of tshuva. When you come into Rosh Hashana, that's the thing which is lit up. That me and him is one. How does that get expressed? We'll talk about that in a minute. It gets expressed by trying to crown the king. We'll explain that a little bit later. And how does it get expressed on Yom Kippur? Yom Kippur is not about just doing tshuva on the Averos. Yom Kippur is about allowing the fact that we are one to get revealed. You know, once I noticed the machzor was sitting on the bookshelf, and it was, you know, a machzor with English. So what does it say on the machzor for Yom Kippur? The day of? No. Atonement. So I looked, I said, well, that's really interesting. You could break that up and read it the day of at one mint. At one mint, you know, day of oneness, becoming one, revealing that we're one. It's not something I do. I can't do anything for it because I can't do anything against it either. But to reveal it, it needs to be lit up. That's what Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur do. So that places them outside and above and beyond what Tshuva is all about, right? You with me? So therefore, the minute I step into Rosh Hashanah, I'm stepping into a day in which gets revealed this oneness between me and him, that I have with him, that's really one. And when I step into Yom Kippur, again I'm stepping into a day in which is going to get revealed the day of at one mint, the day where we become one. Gets revealed the fact we're one. Okay? Now, I have a question for you. A person did an Aveira. He knows he shouldn't have done it. And at the time when he did it, he knew he was doing wrong. And he heard this little voice, like Yosef, saying to his brothers, begging them, please don't do it. Don't throw me in the pit. And they said, they squashed his face down and they said, I'm not listening to you. And they turned their compassion off and they didn't listen to that little voice. And it happens, I assume it happens in you, because I know it happens in me, unless everybody here are total tzedekis and nobody here does any aveiros of any sort whatsoever. But it could be there's somebody who once maybe did something. So everybody knows that at that point, there's a voice that says, don't. Not like President Biden says don't, and nobody pays it. Well, actually, it's like President Biden says don't, and nobody paid any attention to him. So same here. You hear this little voice that says, please don't. You knew it was wrong, and nevertheless you did it. Because you said, you know what? I've had a hard day, I have a hard life. That guy really, or that girl really upset me. I just couldn't be bothered with the whole thing. So you sort of, give yourself a bit of a discount and give yourself a bit of a freedom to maneuver a bit. And you say, I'm going to do it anyway, even though I know it's wrong. Okay, so you did that very. It was knowingly. So why do tshuva afterwards? It was your choice. You chose to act like that. What happened afterwards? What started stirring up in you? This tshuva, it's true. When tshuva gets revealed, so then it's going to fix things up. But what motivates the tshuva? What gets it moving? What ignites it? What lights it up? What gets it in motion? You understand what I'm asking? When the deeper level of the connection I have gets revealed in tshuva, that fixes up and reconnects. You're fair. Good. But what makes it get revealed? In other words, we said it's like the fire deep down in the rock, that when you go bang the rock, the spark flies out. So I have a little bit of fire inside of me that normally doesn't get revealed, but it happens that it does. But what set the spark off? You know what the answer is? The answer is the deeper level where I'm one with him. Because he and I are one, I can't tolerate it that on the more superficial aspects of my being, I'm not in that situation. Hooray, my Chayah and my Nefesh, Ruach and Neshama are part of me. The Yechid is not one thing and Naran, Nefesh, Ruach and Neshama and Chayah. We're talking professional language already, right? Is something different. It's all the same me. It's all part of the soul. It's the same system, the soul system. It's all the one and the same me. It's different levels in me. When it gets revealed that I and he are really one and it's not two, I can't stand it. I can't take it. That on the more superficial aspects of my of my soul, of my being, I'm not in that situation. There I'm disconnected. I'm like not in harmony, in syncopation with my own self. You with me? I want to tell you, I want to share with you, I used to give lectures in Bar Ilan University to the girls there in the Midrashiyah. And there was one girl, her name was Shiri, and she came in the beginning like, sitting there in a very sort of challenging mode, like, try and convince me and try and interest me. And then she got more and more into it, and there were some things that really spoke to her. And then one day she comes up to me and says, Feygin, she says, I understand what you're talking about. There's the inner core, and then there's the outer self, the everyday outer self. And I see they're not in harmony. And I can't take this situation to live where my outer self is not in harmony with my inner being. I can't take it. I want to go and learn Yadut. I want to go and learn Yadut. So, do you think I should enroll in the course in Bar Ilan? I told the Bar Ilan, you can learn biology, but I'll help you to find a place where you can go and learn the Yiddishkeit. And she ended up, did very well in life. Anyway, so that's the story. That's what happens on Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur. Now you understand the process that we're about to go into. It's very exciting. I'm personally very excited about it. We're about to step into a place, well, it's not a place, it's a time, just like a place, which is full of light. That light lights up my yichida, the level within me where he and I are one. Immediately, that's going to set moving the more superficial aspects of me, which includes also tshuva, because tshuva is not my essence. Tshuva is a very deep connection I have with him, but it's not me. You got it? So, but what sets the tshuva off, what gets it moving? When Yechida gets revealed, that activates Chayah. You understand? That activates the level in the soul which gets revealed in tshuva. And then, eventually, it goes down and brings the whole situation where I'm one with Hashem, even into that place where I made all the balagan, where I made all the mistakes, and cleans everything up.
And that you, once you get into the Yechida, it's a ripple effect all the other ways in the Neshama.
Say again, sorry?
Once you get in touch with the Yechida, right, it goes to Chayah, Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama, it goes through all.
Right. What you need is, the problem is that deep down inside, every Jew is gold, is a diamond, right? He's precious. Even guys sitting in prison did the most heinous crimes, but they're Jewish. They have a Jewish soul. They have a spark of a soul inside of them. The problem is, on the more superficial aspect of their being, means to say, let's say their behavior is problematic, right? So, where the problem is on the level in which I act and behave. That's where all the balagan is. How am I going to clean that up? I have to copy-paste the situation the way it is in Yechida and bring that down into Naran.
How is that taking accountability for your actions? I feel like it's a very
It's not taking accountability. That's not what we're not talking about just taking accountability. We're talking about becoming a different person.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying let's say you brought the example of someone in jail. The world is not going to be like, wow, he's a great person now because he got a lot of his deed. You know what I'm saying? Yes, internally it might have created a great shift, but at the end of the day, if someone did a bad action, he's got to fix that. Do you know what I'm saying?
It could be, but it happens also, even guys in prison, that they keep a very close eye, because watch on all the guys there, and the girls. And the people involved there with him can testify and say, he's not the same person that he was that did those things before. It's safe to let him go back out and be part of society, because he's a new man. How did he become a new man?
Yeah.
A new man or a new girl? Because those levels... you have a Newman here?
Newman.
Right.
You're getting called out.
How do we have... You're not from Australia by any chance, Newman? No?
Are you Australian?
No, I'm not Australian.
Not Australia. Okay, there's a Newman in Australia. Okay. Because what got revealed, what happened was that the level of Yechidah is so deep down and so covered up that when it's really me, but when it gets revealed, it's such a novelty that you become like a new person. I want to tell you a little story. Every step of the way, I tell you a story to make it more real. There was, I used to teach in yeshiva for the newcomers in Kfar Chabad, the English speakers. There was a guy there called Matisiao. He was a lawyer in New York, and he lived a very high, fancy lifestyle, and very, how do you call them, indulgent sort of lifestyle. And he came to the yeshiva, and he became a different person. He just became a different person. Became a really excited Yid, and he looked like a different person. He got a package. You hear me, girls?
Yeah.
He got a package from America. And he went to the post office with he got in his mail, there's a package in the post office. So he comes to the post office to claim his package. Okay, what's your name? Your name is Matt, whatever, I forget his surname. I'm not very good at remembering surnames in general. And the guy at the post office, he says, well, prove who you are. I mean, you have to show me identity. So he shows him his passport. He doesn't have an ID card, he's not Israeli, American. He shows him the passport. So the guy in the post office, he looks at the picture of the passport, he looks at the guy standing in front of him, he says, I'm sorry, it doesn't match. It's not the same person. He looked like a different person. You understand what I'm saying? The Yechidah got lit up and came down into his Naran, and he is now a new man. Right? By the way, that's why tshuva saves you from punishment. Because God comes to punish the guy who did it. He's not there. He disappeared. He's a new person.
That person in your life gets on his Yechidah and bring him back into society. But if he just does this again, he has to come on as a kid.
Well, he'd be like any other person who did.
Huh?
He'd be like any other person you could ask. What if they did?
No, I'm saying like, getting one of your Yechidah one time doesn't solve you as a person.
Oh, no. The people have to be convinced that not just Yechidah got lit up in one special day. That in order to fix things up, hey girls, share with me what's so interesting. Sounds to me very interesting over there. Huh? Yeah? I'll even give you my cake if you want. What we need to have happen is the situation the way it is in Yechidah, where he and I are one, has to get copied and brought down into that level of me, Naran, where I'm not one with him as such. Right? So the whole system gets all connected up and everything's in sync. Something has to move sufficiently that you can say he's now a different person. He's acting differently, he's talking differently, he's thinking differently, he's feeling differently, he's reacting differently, his aspirations are different. He's just a different sort of a person. You can see on him. I mean, it happens, you know why it happens on Yom Kippur? You know why on Yom Kippur? All of a sudden everybody comes to shul. They don't take the dog for a walk, they don't wash the car, they don't go and play golf, they come to shul. They have no intention of changing. They're intending next Shabbos to continue on. They don't think, I'm from now on going to do all the Torah and mitzvahs. They don't think in those terms. What are they feeling? What are they experiencing? What do you say, girls?
Connection.
What are people experiencing on Yom Kippur?
Connection.
It's more than just connection.
Judgment.
It's much higher than judgment. Not he's there and I'm here and he's judging me. It's a question I have to identify. This is God's day. It's the Yechidah. this is God's day, this is where He is, so I got to be there. I have to be there. I can't be anywhere else. That's me. When His Yechida gets lit up, that's what happened. I don't know, you guys. Hello? I got something really interesting to tell you. You remember this picture of the 6-Day War?
Me?
At the end of the 6-Day War,
Oh, really?
right? Back in 1967.
You said if I was alive?
Huh?
What did you have?
What? The 6-Day War. Remember the 6-Day War?
Of course, what?
And the famous statement, Har Habayit biyadenu. The Temple Mount is in our hands. You know, we own it, it's ours. And people started to run to the Koisel. Everybody started, there was a river of people running down towards the Koisel. Not religious people, nothing to do with religion, nothing to do with taking upon themselves the dictates of Torah and mitzvot, etc., etc. Elamah, what were they going there for? What was the excitement? I remember in Australia at the time I was a child, but I remember my parents were really excited as well. I was maybe 8 years old at the time. You can guess my age now. Yeah? 7, 8 years old, like something like that. I was old enough to remember. I remember my parents came here for a visit the year afterwards in 1968. Everybody was like really excited. There was tremendous changes took place in the Jewish world then. You know what happened then? People's Yechida got lit up. So they said, this is the holy place, that's where Hashem is. I have to be there. And they ran down there.
The Yechida also comes out by Mesiras Nefesh.
Yes, yes. You can't get disconnected. Something threatens to disconnect me, and I can't. Because here in I1, it's like getting disconnected from myself. I can't stop being me. Yeah? Okay. So that's why, and I'll explain to you, something which Chazal, which the sages tell us, that we say by Yom Kippur, it's Sumo shel Yom Mechaper. V'yom hazeh, hayom hazeh yichaper aleichem, l'taher etchem. One second, you guys speak in Yeshiva Shalosh or modern Hebrew? What are you used to hearing? Yitaher eschem or yitaher etchem? What? Huh?
I'm used to Tahar
Etchem? Okay. Hayom hazeh yichaper aleichem l'taher etchem. This day will purify you, will cleanse you. Say Chazal, it's Sumo shel Yom Mechaper, the day itself atones. How could just getting into a day fix up all the sins I did? Well, you guys know the answer now, right? Because on that day, it's a day in which gets revealed this essential connection from the essence of who I really am, that He and I are one, and that's who I really am, and as a result, it can clean up all the balagan that I made with my naran, with my actions and my feelings and my behavior and my thoughts and my actions and my ideas. All things are off, of course, but it can fix them up and bring them all back into being with me, being more authentic and faithful to who I really am in my essence. Oh, that's what Yom Kippur does. But, say the sages, Yom Kippur will atone, but you have to do tshuva for it to atone. Now, the tshuva is not what causes the atonement. The day causes the atonement, but it's on condition that you do tshuva. Why? You know why? Because otherwise, Yechida is there, high up there, and deep down inside he's beautiful, he's a wonderful Jew. Oh, but in Naran, he's down there and he's got lots of averos. You need something to pave the way, to take out the plug and let the situation the way it is in Yechida flow down and wash out and bring that situation of oneness into Naran. Also there I'll be one with Him. What's that? That's tshuva. Tshuva allows for the situation the way it is in Yechida to come down and to wash out and clean out the whole of Naran. And now Naran also becomes new and different, becomes syncopated and harmonized with Yechida, and it's all the one me, and all parts of my personality are all in harmony and working together, and it's the one me. It's not 2 or 3 different me's. You with me? Yeah? Okay, so now we understand that's what happens on Yom Kippur. And the same thing happens on Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, we say to Hashem, please be king. We want to encourage you and interest you in once again being a king for us. I have a question for you. What do you need a king for? If there'd be a king, and he's a good king, so you want to follow what he says, and if you didn't know what he said, so you feel bad about it, and you sort of feel obligated if there's a king. But if there's no king, you're going to go looking around for a king. I must tell you on a personal note, I grew up as a kid in Australia, and my parents sent me to public school. We don't come from a religious background. We used to have a ceremony every day in Australian public schools. That every morning before starting school, first thing is everybody stands and sings the national anthem. God save our gracious Queen, long live our noble Queen. Kids, and then somebody had the special COVID of raising the flag on the mast. It was a flag, flag of Australia, and somebody had the COVID, the special schos, to be the one to raise the flag. That's how, and everybody to salute, and that was the beginning. And everybody was brought up, we were brought up to love the Queen and to respect the Queen. To this day, I couldn't get rid of it. I really, respect and love the Queen. They put it into us. She was a wonderful lady. Very clever and very gracious, etc. But if there's no queen and there's no king, so you go around looking for a king. If there's a king, I'll do what he says. And if I didn't, I feel bad. I'll renew my obligation. But if there's no king, what do you need? What do you need a king for? If you go to somebody and say, please be my king, what are you actually saying? If you're not going to be my king, I have no life. My life is meaningless. It's worthless without you. That shows that my connection with you, who I want to be, you should be my king, is something which hits and touches my very essence. That's what happens on the first day. As I go into Rosh Hashanah, it's a day which gets lit up. Yechidah. Is Yechidah part of tshuva? Or it's outside of tshuva? According to what we said. Is Yechidah a level of the soul which is involved in doing tshuva? Or it's something above and beyond the actual tshuva itself? It's above the tshuva itself. So that's what Rosh Hashanah really is. It's a day which gets lit up and activated. Yechidah. You with me? Now, if Yechidah gets activated, what happens without any breaking time on a lower level? The more outer aspects of my soul system gets activated. The level which is involved in tshuva. I start feeling bad that I'm not one with him in all of my levels of being. In all of my eyes and my me's and my minds. Yes? Even there I start feeling, well, because if Yechidah gets activated and I become really consciously aware of it and I experience it, it's going to make me feel bad that I'm not like that in every other aspect and level of myself. Right? So immediately when Yechidah gets activated, automatically that's going to activate tshuva. So the first second I step into Rosh Hashanah, I'm stepping into a day where the essence of the day is something above and beyond the tshuva. So it's not a day of tshuva, but automatically it starts becoming the first of 10 days of tshuva. You with me? Now you go through this period of 10 days now of tshuva, you get to Yom Kippur, oppa! Now you did tshuva. Tshuva got activated. Chayah, which is involved in doing tshuva, the deeper connection. Even though I didn't do Torah mitzvahs, nevertheless, I, as somebody who's separate from him and should be connected through Torah mitzvahs, isn't. I do tshuva, it fixes it up and reestablishes the connection between I and him. That's tshuva. Now I did the tshuva. What does tshuva do? It allows that the situation where it is in Yechidah can come down and get revealed also in Naran, in the neshama, the way it's in the guf, for my everyday life. Right? So now you understand that at the end of the days of tshuva, once again, Yechida gets revealed. That's Yom Kippur. So at the end of Yom Kippur, at the end of the 10 days of tshuva, you have also this content of Yechida. He and I are one. You with? So it says like this. Rosh Hashanah sparks off Yechida. Yechida got activated. At the same second, it now gets activated Tshuva. A period of 10 days of Tshuva starts from the first second of Rosh Hashanah. First second of Rosh Hashanah. Once Yechida gets activated, it starts getting revealed more. So that sets off a feeling by the person not happy with the fact that he's not one with Hashem in all levels of his being. That's tshuva. Right? Now he starts doing tshuva. Immediately, for the first second of Rosh Hashanah. Huh?
That's what we're defining teshuva, and how do you do teshuva?
So now he's doing tshuva. How? Oh, we'll talk about that in a minute. Now he's doing tshuva for 10 days. Right? As I said in the beginning, first we're making a conceptual framework and then we'll see where to jump in. I figured I'll do it according to questions. So she asked, well, what's your name?
Leah.
Huh?
Leah.
Leah? So Leah asked, good question, we'll get back to Leah's question. We'll just finish off the sketching, the framework. So you get into Rosh Hashanah, the first minute of Rosh Hashanah, interesting, huh? Not yet. The first second of Rosh Hashanah is a day, not a day of tshuva. The essence of Rosh Hashanah, what it's really all about, is Yechida getting ignited, getting activated. And that's what's necessary for me. The essence of my soul is one with Him in order for me to activate Him to want to once again be a king and be interested in continuing the world being existing and running the world. At the same time, when the essence of my soul got revealed, automatically that's going to set off a chain reaction, which doesn't take time. The first second of Rosh Hashanah is the first second of the days of tshuva, 10 days. After this process of tshuva, I have now paved the way that for Yechida, when it gets once again lit up and activated on Yom Kippur because of the speciality of that day, the situation of Yom Yechida is now going to come into Naran. Right?
What's Naran?
Huh? Nefesh, Ruach, and Neshama. The soul, the way it is in the body in your everyday life. Where you made the balagan. So now we've got the whole picture, right? So it's very exciting. I'm about to go into this special time. Now, what Leah asked is about tshuva, but what I suggest is that we take a little break, because they called it a fabring, not a lecture, right? So if you guys want to sing a song or something between yourselves, or you want to just continue talking? What would you like to take a break, or you want to?
I think we're fine.
I
think we're fine.
Okay, I'm until 4 in the morning. I'm fine. Just I need water. That's all. In the meantime, we have water. Okay. The question is now, let's talk about tshuva, right? Let's talk about tshuva. What happens when you start doing tshuva? So the answer is, the explanation is as follows. The Alter Rebbe in Tanya, he has the third section of Tanya is Igeres HaTshuva, and there he talks all about tshuva. It's very interesting what he does there. He starts off in the beginning of the first chapter, the first 3. He says that doing tshuva is all about just deciding I'm not going to go against Hashem's will anymore. It's not fasting, and not sitting on ants' nests and getting bitten, and not rolling in the snow, not depriving myself of food and fasting and all sorts of other things, and suffering and inflicting things on myself. It's just the change I make within myself, that previously I was like born free, and now I take upon myself that I am obliged. In general, that's what tshuva essentially is. And then he goes in for 3 chapters and explains all the halachic aspects of fixing up the balagan that you made when you did tshuva, when you did the averos. Then, in chapter 4, he goes back. Now asks the question, because he knows it's going to be a girl Leah, and she's going to ask, okay, but how do you do it? So he says now, okay, now in order to explain the process of tshuva itself, I have to put down on the table one item. And that is that tshuva is made up of the word tashuv hey. Tashuv hey. Hashem's name, Yud and Hey, and Vav and Hey, Yud Ke Vav Ke, has 2 Heys, right? So there's putting the Hey back in its place is 2 levels in tshuva. And I'll make it simple for you. I won't give you a whole Kabbalistic explanation now, don't worry. Tshuva means to go back, to return, right? Return to where?
What kind of new person? Why are you returning?
1 second. What do I mean when I want to return? Returning back, the lower basic level of tshuva is I want to return back to the state I was in before I did the Aveira. To be clean. Right? That's lower level, basic, beginner's level of tshuva. Then the more advanced, upper, higher level of tshuva is to go back to the state that I was in before my soul came down into being born into this world. The way it was, incorporated within godliness, before it became into a body like as a created thing. Yeah? That's the higher level. Well, you say, well, that's like, who can hold, but that's like big tzaddikim maybe. The very essence of the soul, where it's rooted in godliness, gets revealed in them. Well, that's, Holavai, fix up. I would be very happy just to fix up a few of my mistakes, We're talking about, he says, no. You have to put down on the table first that before you even start moving on the first step, that you're aiming for the final summit, the high point in tshuva. That's where you really want to get to. Your first step in tshuva, which is to fix up what you did wrong, or to try and get back to the state you were before you did wrong, has to be part of a trip that you're on, part of a journey which is aimed at essentially getting back to who I really deep down am. In other words, I'm really already there. You're saying this high upper level of tshuva is very, very high up. That's basically who I am. It's not like I'm a person who has to change from being this person to that person. I'm talking about getting back to where I belong. Okay. And Baya. Getting back to where I essentially am. That's what tshuva is all about. The tshuva of the Alter Rebbe wants us to do, he says, chas v'sholem, to separate between the first stage, the lower level of tshuva, and the final stage, the higher level of tshuva. If you'll separate them, why would you do tshuva? Why would you be doing tshuva? Or because you're afraid of the punishment that you believe you're going to get in this world or the coming world. Maybe you believe there's a punishment. Or because you want to try and vet yourself in to being in a format of the way you think you should be. Yeah? Being a good, fine Jew. You want to vet yourself into that format. The Alter Rebbe says, no. That's not the process of tshuva I want you guys to get into. I want your first step, even if the most basic, minimal thing, in one little thing, that you bring yourself more into alignment with what Hashem wants, is because you are aiming at and you're aspiring to get to a state where your real inner self will be totally revealed in you, and in all aspects of your life, in all levels of your soul, it will be fully present and revealed. That's what the tshuva is really all about. Even if the first step is something really small and laughable and basic, I don't know, let's say somebody is going to stop smoking on Shabbos. Why? Not because he's going to get punished in hell, because he knows who he really is, and he wants to bring out into every aspect of his life and his being who he really deep down is. He wants to bring it out and bring it down and bring it into a revealed state, and that's what he's aiming at. So therefore, he's making a very small step at the moment, but that's one small step for mankind, one great step for man. One small step for man, one great step for mankind, well, for tshuva, for the soul, right? That's what the tshuva, doing tshuva, is really all about. So what you really need then for tshuva is to believe who you really are. Do you ever had a case in the house, let's say, where you can't find your keys, and you've got to leave, and you can't leave without your keys, and you can't find them? It drives you crazy, right? If you remembered, I forgot when I was in the bank, I left them on the counter there, so then it stops driving you crazy. You have a different problem now, right? You have to deal with it, but it doesn't drive you crazy anymore, right? Why does it drive you crazy when you can't find the keys? Because you know they're here. So you pick up the washing and see maybe under the pile of washing that nobody folded yet, somebody's threw the clean washing from the laundry onto the bed and the keys are under there. Maybe it's up on a bookshelf, maybe it's under a paper, maybe you know it's somewhere, so you look for it. That's how you have to be about yourself. You know that there's this real, that deep down I am really pure and I'm really wrong, and that's where I really belong and who I really am. And therefore, you're digging away and taking away everything which is not me to try and get to the real me. That's what the tshuva is really all about. So the tshuva is not changing, becoming a different person. It's, on the other hand, it is talking about becoming a different person. Why? Because it's talking about becoming a different person because levels of your soul, which until now were completely concealed, now get revealed. So therefore you look like a new person. To the point where the guy in the post office doesn't recognize you from the photo in your passport. It looks like a different person. But on the other hand, it's not he wasn't trying, Matt was not trying to become a different person and look different. He was trying to be more and more in the place where his soul really belongs. And that came out more and more into the most superficial aspects of his soul, even the way the soul is in his body, and even the way it becomes apparent on his face. He looked like a different person, right? In other words, you are becoming a different person, but it's because levels within you which were previously completely concealed now suddenly pop up and surface and become revealed, and you start living in accordance and in harmony with them. So now, in that sense, you're a different person. But on the other hand, it's really, you just got back to where you belong. Right? That's what the Chassidish tshuva, that's the tshuva of the Alter Rebbe, that's what he wants us to do. As a matter of fact, the whole of Elul and the whole of Tishrei is all based on one single point. That deep down, what I really am, and to be there, to try and get more and more and more in touch with it. Start off with Ani L'Doidi. If Ani will be Ani, Mamela automatically I'll be L'Doidi. To be the real me. I'm trying to take away everything which is not the real me, to learn about the real me, to try and bring it out more, get more connected with the real me. And then that prepares you now for Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur. Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur is a incredible gift. Well, wow. It's getting really excited. I want to tell you, I personally, I'll finish off on a personal note. I come from like I said, not from a religious background. You know, as they say in Ivrit, adlik et hanerot or adlik et televizia. Yeah? You know, light candles and then watch the ABC News, you know, Channel 2 News, whatever. And I used to like going to shul on Shabbos. I used to walk to shul. My father used to go to the factory. I used to go to shul. And, you know, we didn't like, but we kept, like Yom Kippur I never ate. We always fasted Yom Kippur. And, you know, Pesach, little Seder, we always made Baba and Zayda for little Pesach, that they, you know, kept all the stuff, or sort of more or less. And we didn't keep anything. And then more, you know, I sort of, that was okay as a kid at home. So, you know, when it comes to Yom Kippur, we used to go to shul. as they used to joke there, the difference between the Reform and the Orthodox shul. The Reform shul had the car parking lot out front, and the Orthodox shul people used to park around the block and then walk into shul. Yeah, so that's how we used to go to shul. But I didn't eat. I used to daven. I enjoyed the services. I used to. Anyway, comes along. I was in how do you guys call it in America? In college. So in Australia they call it uni, because Australians are too lazy to say the whole word, right? So they say uni instead of university. So when it was time to go to uni, so that I left home and I lived in a residential college on campus. It was a Jewish college called Shalom College on campus, run by the Jewish community, and came along Yom Kippur, and all of a sudden, here I am, free individual on campus with tens of thousands of students in this university of all different religions and backgrounds and nationalities. And you can do whatever you want there. Nobody's obliging you to do anything. And there's no reason why I should do anything. And there's nothing encouraging me to go to shul or to keep Yom Kippur. And something inside of me said, but it's Yom Kippur, but I won't fast, I won't go to shul. So I went to a youth minyan, and I got really enthusiastic there. And every time comes along Yom Kippur, I get really enthusiastic again, because I know that same deep soulful experience of the real me coming up and out and surfacing is going to happen again. And you know what? It looks like, it's not as enjoyable as playing baseball or going surfing or having a good steak or something, but those are more external things. Here, it's like you experience your real inner self. There's no greater pleasure than that. And you say, wow, that's the place I want to be. That's the place I want to be. And as a result, things rolled along. Eventually I decided to go to yeshiva. And when I went to yeshiva, finally I felt there, we were sitting around, I'm finishing 1 minute. Yeah? Finally I finished there, we sat learning Likutei Torah from the Alter Rebbe. And I felt, for the first time in my life, I don't want to be anywhere else. This is where I want to be. Until now, everything I'm doing is preparation for something afterwards. You go to uni or college in order to get a profession, in order to earn money, in order to do the things you like doing. And then you start learning Gemara and Allah in order to be a good Jew, to do what you're supposed to do. But I'm never really there. And then finally, learning Chassidus, wow. How does it say in ways? You got there. You got to the yard. How do they say it in English? You arrived at your destination, you reach your destination. I don't want to be anywhere else. This is it. And just to be all the time connected with that. And there's no end to how much more you can become more in tune with your inner self. There's always room for improvement. And every year it sort of comes around again, but it's sort of spiral. Comes up on a higher level. The same thing comes around again on the same day, but on a higher level in a better way. And comes up Rosh Hashana Yom Kippur. I hope I managed to share with you and the excitement that there is, the columns, the expectations we have, together with the trepidation, I forgot my English. The arousal that one feels. You're waking up. It's about to be something, a very special occasion. Something is about to move. Something is about to start warming up, and deeper parts of it are going to start getting revealed. Well, so all I can tell you is l'chaim, l'chaim. And I enjoyed your listening. And for the girls who didn't want to stay all the time for some reason, so I'll put it up to YouTube, and so you can catch it there. And I thank you very much for your attention. And as I said, once again I appreciate the invitation, because it caused me to get more in touch with this point, which I wanted to bring you to, because you understand the trick, right? I mean, when I went to Fabring with you, I started thinking, what I'm going to talk about, I'm going to bring them into the talking of Rosh Hashana and Kippur. So I started thinking, hey, I have to be there already in order to, I can't just talk about it, I have to, be there. It's like not sitting at the counter, in a guest reception and saying, oh, here's the room over there. You can go in. There's some nice things to see there. I have to be standing at the door saying, hey, come in and see what's here. I'm in the room. And saying, come have a look here. I have to be there already. So just when I got invited to Fabring, like Yechida activates, immediately it activates me being more in tune and connected with the things I wanted to talk to you about, the place I wanted to bring you to, and I think you now are going to have a different Rosh Hashana and Yom Kippur this year than you ever did before. I have so much more to talk to you about, but it requires quite a few more hours, another session. So I'll let that sink in now until next we meet again. Hopefully that will be sometime or other. And that's it.
Thank you very much.
L'chaim. A good, sweet year. A good gewenst Jahr, Ksivach Simatoiva.